FNCS Trios champions were crowned around the world across 7 regions. 21 players walking away with prizing, respect, and the axe of champions. Today we're taking you through a victory lap to show you exactly how these teams earned their title. This is the region recap. The Middle East, a region with select top teams fighting for the title of Kings. Electrocity Kuki, Alchem Phantom, and GXR Nile, a team used to the silver medal in previous FNCSs, finally had their spot on the top. This team had other titles though aside from their placements, and are heralded as the most aggressive team in their region. With a 30 elimination game in the semifinals, they come into finals with no one wanting to land near them at all. Uncontested, they went back and forth with Soriano, Modisk, and Kai throughout the entire first day of the finals, barely in the lead at the end of the day with just 4 points. They really started to put a heavy foot on the gas, accruing so many points, seeming to basically wrap up the competition before the final game. Going out early in game 10 though, they hit a speed bump in which Soriano's team comes zooming past them fast with a victory royale. Going into that final game where things were getting even closer, Kuki's team ends up in 5th, and Soriano's placed 2nd. But remember, this is the aggressive team. They had 10 eliminations in that last game, and although their placement was a bit lower than their next best team rolling in, those elims really made a difference and pushed their result over the top. And with that, they won the region by 10 points. Champions of the FNCS, they wait until the next season to see if anyone else is worthy enough to challenge their title.
FNCS in OCE was all about the Day 2 comeback. Power Muzz, Power Luda, and Speedy were in 3rd place at the end of the first day, 45 points behind the first place team of Sorif, Volks, and Sync. With their eyes set on the title, they came bursting out of the gate fast on the 2nd day with a 2nd place that had 10 elims, which massively helped them close the gap. They played consistently for the rest of the day, never placing outside the top 10, getting elims in every single game, as well as picking up a victory royale with 9 eliminations right before the final game. With this consistency over the day, alongside the victory royale, they had a huge lead coming into the last game and placed 8th inside the top 10 again with a few eliminations to spare. This let them hold on to their spot, and each of them picked up their first ever FNCS first place.
For the FNCS finals in Asia, it came down to 2 teams with a legacy of victory. The Crazy Raccoon trio of Nator, Alice, and the FNCS Invitational champion Q-Jack versus Fram, Mercy, and Pacotine. For Nator, Alice, and Q-Jack, this was their time. From the start of this FNCS, they jumped into their first qualifier placing 3rd, and that top tier performance continued into the semis, where they placed 1st. Having a taste of total victory from start to finish, it was the last game of Asia where they would have to make the final push. 12 points down to their rivals, both teams are alive in the final zone to determine the winner. Both teams are wiping trio after trio, and it comes down to a matchup between both teams. Alice takes out Paco and Fram in the same 5-second window, and then later also gets the final shot onto Mercy. They personally removed the team ahead of them on the leaderboard, placed 2nd in that game with 9 eliminations, and become the champions of the Asia region. They take the Axe of Champions home and leave us with a game to remember forever.
Europe showed us how intense a finals for the FNCS can be, all the way down to the last game. It was Guildhen, Wave Janus, and Uguay, better known as Champix, that earned the title of champions, but it wasn't an easy ride all the way up to the top. After the first day, they were only in 3rd place and had a few inconsistent games, asking us the question of if they were actually champion material. They answered loud and clear on day 2. Their first game they placed 3rd, and then in game 2 of day 2 they got a victory royale and a very impressive run throughout the day. Their final game came down to an 11-point difference between them in 1st and the 2nd and place teams behind them. A $100,000 snipe takes out Resin from the 2nd place team, yet at the same time, Flick in 3rd made up the point differential with eliminations. Down to the wire, it was their positioning and performance in the endgame that made them survive longer, shoot better than any other team, claiming their last victory royale and title as the champions of Europe. Not only have these guys performed in the FNCS finals, picking up the axe of champions, but they've performed in every other tournament they've played this season, their lowest placement currently being 5th. Hen, Janice, and Chapix truly personify the title of champions, and this qualifies them through to next season's FNCS finals as well, where I'm sure they'll be looking to continue their reign.
Se existe uma oportunidade para pegar o topo do mapa, é melhor não pensar muito, pois o trio Seiyun, King e Kadu, campeão da FNCS temporada 5, capítulo 2 na região Brasil, é especialista em dominar essa posição e definir o ritmo da partida. Na semifinal, eles ganharam 3 das 6 quedas disponíveis no grupo D. Já na etapa final, o ritmo de vitórias Royale não mudou e eles levaram 5 das 12 quedas. Ainda assim, apenas 8 pontos de diferença separaram os ganhadores do segundo lugar, tornando essa FNCS a mais disputada de todas as temporadas. Agora, vamos falar sobre cada um desses jogadores. Seiyun atua como líder no jogo e sempre guia o seu time pelas melhores rotações. Essa habilidade com certeza causa um grande impacto na atuação do seu time. A mesma influência foi vista na FNCS da última temporada, onde o seu antigo trio terminou em segundo lugar. Dessa vez, a história foi diferente e ele atingiu o topo da tabela ao lado de seus novos companheiros de time. King é um jogador experiente em campeonatos, com mais de 30 títulos no currículo se incluirmos os campeonatos diários. Sua habilidade individual em todos os fundamentos do Fortnite é incrível. Além disso, King se destaca pela capacidade de focar em finais de partida, conseguindo muitas vezes ganhar sozinho duelos contra mais de um adversário. E para completar esse trio muito habilidoso, temos o Kadu. Sua história no Fortnite não começou hoje. Kadu sempre apresentou resultados incríveis em campeonatos semanais dentro do jogo e também ganhou destaque ao disputar torneios em outras regiões, conseguindo bons resultados mesmo com um ping mais alto. Em resumo, esse trio é a prova que quando unimos noção de jogo e mecânica, o resultado pode ser surpreendente.
Finals for NA East were close all the way to the very end. In the last game, so many big names were still in the contest to be crowned champions. Slacks, Acorn, Jock, Commandment, Scented and Edgy, Day, Miro, Reverse, Bucky, Kanata, and Macwood. Some of the top teams in the region all showed up and had a chance to gain first place in the last game. These specific teams were also the ones alive, along with Zate, Sap, and Stretch, all round up the top 5 in the final game of NA East. Slacks, Acorn, and Jock were first overall going into this game, and they go down in 4th. All of the other teams tried the entire time to get as many elims as possible, trying their best to gain points. But with Zate, Sap, and Stretch on high, the pressure was on and every edit was getting punished by the second. In the final moments, Bucky wins in an amazing 15-layer vertical showdown up against Zate. And although it was impressive, the record placement of Acorn, Jock, and Slacks built up throughout the day was just unmatched. Just listen to this. One game was a 22nd place finish. Other than that, the lowest they placed was 10th. They had 11 games inside of the top 10. One win, points every game, and sometimes even hit double digits on the elims. Playing Fortnite in the most efficient way possible, wrapping up consistency, focusing on team play, and at the same time, having amazing individual plays. This is what pushes this team further than everyone else around them. They truly deserve the title of FNCS champions.
And to wrap things up for this season of the FNCS, we have to turn our attention to the kings of NA West, Arcrim, Rex, and Epic Whale. Just like their experience in the qualifiers, the 3-time FNCS champs had a rocky start to their finals journey. An uncontested Sweaty Sands allowed them to start off with strong loadouts, but they seldom saw opportunities for early engagements, which meant running into Storm Surge. However, once endgame rolled around, so did their domination. Arcrim, Rex, and Epic Whale would rip through the opponents on the low ground, regardless of what situation they were in. By Game 5 of Day 1, the team was in full swing and ready to take their first victory royale. Bordiar, Macon, and Reet may have had height and the Hydro 16 RPG, but Arc, Rex, and Epic Whale played patiently, eventually knocking them down to the low ground and taking them out with ease for the win. They continued their momentum into Day 2, making it to the endgame in all 6 games, 4 of which they placed in the top 5. Great loadouts, quick car rotations, and smart engagements set themselves up for easy elim and placement points, another victory royale, and ultimately the entire competition. And the rest is history.
Stories of dominance across 7 regions. Close games that came down to the final zone with highlights that'll last a lifetime throughout Fortnite. High stakes, new teams, old names. This FNCS truly was the best so far and definitely one to remember. The top 3 teams, including the champions, will return next season of the FNCS. There'll be new challengers ready to take a shot at being champions as well. But until then, Fortnite fam, we hope you had fun and found a few teams to follow in between seasons. Keep an eye out for even more while you're on that battle bus. We'll be seeing you real soon.
Beep, beep.